Claire Winters was wiping down the counter at Morrison's Bistro when she heard a little girl's laughter ring out across the restaurant. At 29, Claire had worked as a waitress for 6 years. After dropping out of art school to care for her sick mother, she'd learned to smile through exhaustion and deal gently with difficult customers. But something about that child's pure, delighted laughter made her pause. A girl of about 5, blonde hair, pink dress, was balancing a spoon on her nose. Sitting with her was a man in an expensive navy suit who looked both amused and overwhelmed at the kind of single father who adored his daughter but didn't quite know how to handle all her energy. "Daddy, look, I'm a seal," she announced, right before the spoon fell into her lap. "You're definitely something," he said, retrieving it. His eyes met Claire's, and she saw both devotion and exhaustion in them. She approached with menus and her practiced smile. "Good evening. Can I start you off with something to drink?" "Chocolate milk," the girl shouted. "With extra chocolate, Piper. Manners," her father reminded. "Please, may I have chocolate milk with extra chocolate?" Piper corrected, grinning. "You're pretty." "Daddy, isn't she pretty?" He flushed. "Piper, that's a yes. She is." "I'm sorry, she has no filter." "It's fine," Claire laughed. "And you're pretty too, Piper. I love your dress. It has pockets," Piper said proudly, pulling out a toy unicorn. "This is Sparkles. She goes everywhere with me." "She's beautiful," Claire said, crouching to her level. "Does Sparkles like chocolate milk too?" "She can't drink it. She's magic." "Magic unicorns only eat rainbows." "That makes perfect sense." When Claire returned with their drinks, she found the father watching her with an expression caught between gratitude and longing. "Thank you for being kind to her," he said quietly. "Most people find her exhausting." "She's not exhausting, she's joyful." "That's rare." "I'm Claire, by the way, Lucas Bennett." "And you've met Piper, who will absolutely tell you her entire life story if you let her." Throughout their meal, Claire found excuses to return. Piper was lively, curious, and full of wonder. Lucas was patient and gentle, but the weight of single parenthood showed in his eyes. "Miss Claire, do you have kids?" Piper asked as plates were cleared. "No, sweetheart, I don't." "Do you want kids?" "Because Daddy needs help with me. He tries really hard but he's tired and he can't braid hair and he doesn't know unicorn tea party rules." Lucas looked mortified, but Claire laughed. "Unicorn etiquette is important." "What does he do wrong?" "He drinks pretend tea too fast." "You're supposed to sip slowly while discussing unicorn business." "That is a serious mistake," Claire said, meeting Lucas's eyes. She saw him really smile for the first time that night. When they were leaving, Lucas hesitated as he paid. "Clary Brokenbar, this might sound strange, but would you consider having coffee with me sometime?" "Not as a date. Piper adores you, and watching you with her reminded me parenting should have joy, not just exhaustion." She should have said no, but something in his honesty made her nod. Coffee turned into a routine. Piper always came along, chattering about unicorns and rainbows. Over time, Lucas opened up. Her mother had left 2 years ago, saying motherhood wasn't what she expected. She sent birthday cards but never visited. "I'm doing my best," he said softly, "but sometimes I'm tired." And she asks why she doesn't have a mom like the other kids. "You're doing better than you think," Claire reassured. "Piper is kind and confident. Kids like that don't raise themselves." Weeks passed. Claire found herself woven into their lives. She helped with school projects, taught Piper to braid her doll's hair, and supervised tea parties. Lucas watched, equal parts grateful and quietly affectionate. One night, after Piper went to bed, he spoke with hesitation. "Clary Brokenbar, Piper's school is having a Mother's Day celebration. She's devastated she doesn't have someone to bring. Would you, a Brokenbar, consider pretending to be her mother, just for that day?" Claire looked at the photos of Piper around the house, a bright, joyful little smile, and felt something shift inside her. "Yes," she said softly, "I'll do it for her." The Mother's Day event was beautiful and heartbreaking. Piper ran to her, grabbed her hand, and proudly told everyone, "That's my mom. She's the prettiest one here." They made crafts, ate cookies, and watched Piper's presentation titled "My Mom," where she had drawn Claire with yellow hair and written, "My mom makes me laugh and understands unicorns." "When did she make this?" Claire whispered, tears in her eyes. "Last week, Lucas said. She called it her wish. The hardest moment came when Piper hugged her tightly. I wish you were really my mom, not just pretend. That night, after Piper was asleep, Lucas sat beside Claire on the porch. I shouldn't have asked you to pretend. It's not fair. What if it doesn't have to be pretend? Claire said quietly. Lucas, a broken bar. I love Piper, and I've fallen in love with you. I'm already her mother in every way that matters. He looked stunned, hopeful, vulnerable. Are you sure? I'm a single father with a demanding job and a child who requires unicorn tea parties. I'm sure. My life didn't go how I planned, but maybe it's going better than it ever could have. Maybe I was exactly where I needed to be the night a little girl tried to balance a spoon on her nose. Lucas pulled her into his arms. I love you. I think I have since the night you admired Sparkles the unicorn. They told Piper the next morning. Her scream of joy was enough to wake the neighbors. You're going to be my real mom? Yes, if you want me to be. It's perfect. Now Daddy can learn unicorn tea properly. 6 months later, they married in a small ceremony. Piper was the flower girl, pockets full of Sparkles the unicorn. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, she stood up and declared, I object to anyone saying Claire isn't my mom, because she is. Everyone cried and laughed. Lucas said in his vows, voice shaking, that he had asked Claire to pretend just to protect his daughter, not realizing Claire had already become Piper's mother long before that day. Claire's vows were simple. She spoke of a life she thought had failed, until a little girl reminded her what joy looked like, and a father asked her to pretend to be something she already was in her heart. Piper grew up calling Claire mom without hesitation, because being a mother isn't about biology. It's about showing up, braiding hair, understanding unicorn etiquette, and loving a child so completely that pretending becomes unnecessary because the love was real from the beginning. Piper burst into the kitchen wearing her pink pajamas and unicorn slippers, her hair sticking out in every direction. Claire was packing her lunch while Lucas tried day and failed day to braid her hair. Daddy, Piper groaned. You're supposed to separate the hair, not tangle it like spaghetti. I'm doing my best, Lucas insisted, squinting at the strands as if they were a complex legal contract. Claire laughed softly and took over. Come here, Munchkin. Piper spun around eagerly and plopped onto the stool. Mom always makes it perfect, she declared proudly. Lucas shot Claire a soft smile, a daily reminder of how much had changed in such a short time. Their house felt fuller now, warmer, real. But with real life came new challenges. One afternoon, Claire was at the grocery store when she ran into a woman with the same golden hair as Piper and the same sharp blue eyes. Claire? The woman asked. Yes, Claire said cautiously. My broken bar Emily, Piper's mother. Claire's heart dropped. Oh, Emily looked nervous, her hands twisting together. I heard about the broken bar, everything. The wedding. Piper calling you mom. She swallowed. I'm not here to fight you. I just a broken bar. I want to see my daughter. Claire kept her tone calm. Emily, you left her. She was 3. I know, Emily whispered, tears building. And it was the biggest mistake of my life. Claire didn't know what to say. She wasn't cruel. She didn't hate this woman, but she also remembered Piper's tears, the questions, the drawings labeled my wish. I'm not asking for full custody, Emily added quickly. Just a broken bar, one chance, one afternoon, please. Claire stayed silent for a long moment. Then she said, this isn't my decision alone. We'll talk to Lucas, and we'll consider what's best for Piper. Emily nodded gratefully. Thank you. That night, Claire told Lucas. He froze, the color draining from his face. No, he said immediately. Absolutely not. Lucasa. She walked out on her. She didn't call, didn't visit. She doesn't get to just show up and decide she's ready. Claire stepped closer. I understand, but what if this hurts Piper later? What if she grows up wondering why she wasn't worth a second chance? Lucas flinched, because that had been his fear too, but the truth was more complicated, and Claire knew it. We do this carefully, Claire said gently, on our terms, with boundaries, but we at least talk, for Piper's sake. Lucas looked at her, really looked, and the fight slowly melted out of him. You always know what's right, he whispered. No, Claire corrected softly, I just know what love looks like, and loving Piper means making choices that protect her heart, even when they're hard. A week later, Emily visited their home. Piper hid behind Claire's leg at first, confused and shy. Emily knelt down, her voice trembling. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Broken Bar. I'm your biological mom." Piper looked up at Claire. "Do I have to talk to her?" "You don't have to do anything you're not ready for," Claire said gently. "But she'd like to get to know you." Piper studied Emily for a moment. Then she stepped forward. "Do you know unicorn etiquette?" she asked seriously. Emily blinked. "You my Broken Bar number." Piper sighed dramatically. "It's fine, Mom will teach you." Emily's face crumpled at that single word Mom, but she didn't correct it. She didn't protest. She just smiled sadly. "I'd like that," she whispered. Over the next few weeks, Emily visited occasionally, short, gentle visits where she asked questions, listened, and never pushed. Lucas remained cautious, Claire remained observant, and Piper remained honest. One evening, after school, Piper crawled into Claire's lap. "Mom?" she said quietly. "I like visiting Emily sometimes, but you're still my real mom, right?" Claire wrapped her arms around her. "Of course, sweetheart. I'll always be your mom. That will never change." Piper nodded. "Emily feels like a Broken Bar, someone I'm learning about. But you feel like home." Claire closed her eyes, holding back tears. "I'm so glad I'm your home." Piper hugged her tightly, then whispered, "And Daddy's your home too. I know because you look at him like you look at unicorns." Claire laughed softly. "How do I look at unicorns?" "Like they're magic." A few days later, Lucas found Claire on the porch after work. He sat beside her, taking her hand. "You handled everything with Emily better than I ever could," he said quietly. "You protected Piper without shutting the door on a chance to heal." "How did you even know what to do?" Claire leaned against him. "Because I love her enough to share her, even when it hurts." Lucas kissed the side of her head. "You're the bravest person I know." "I'm just a woman who loves her family," she murmured. "And that," Lucas said softly, "is exactly why you're her mother in every way that matters." Piper's laughter drifted from inside the house. Sparkles the unicorn clutched under her arm, and Claire felt something settle deeper, stronger, truer than before. Family wasn't always simple. It wasn't always easy, but love had a way of stitching broken pieces into something whole. And sometimes being a mother meant holding on. Sometimes it meant letting in. But always it meant choosing love over fear. Every single time.